What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Bars. It's your girl, Savvy Wavy One, besides KOC. How's it going?
It's going. It's going. I'm in a new location. I'm trying to figure it out. So for our YouTube viewers, I'm currently in the most high-tech space I've ever filmed in, and yet I'm just
Really?
filming on my webcam. And so it's one of those, there's like $1,000 cameras around me, red lights, like studio, and I'm filming on my webcam because I haven't figured out the technology. So like if you look up, like
Stunning.
you can see all the fancy lights and all this, and I'm
Yeah.
just using basic overhead unflattering lighting. So the irony.
That's okay. We love it. We love a good webcam video.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing great. My mom came to visit and it was so fun. And you know what I'm doing is dry January, which did I talk about that in
I don't think so.
Okay. I just had never done it. I know people think it's cliche.
Yeah.
I'd never done a full, just like dry month.
Yeah,
Usually I'll like
nice.
have it here and there, whatever. So it was actually really lovely. I was like, I told my mom I'm doing dry January. She loves wine. And I was like, are you cool with that? I'm just going to have a seltzer while you do that. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And it was lovely. So here's your sign if you want to do it, but you're nervous because you have people visiting, you're going on trips. It's not that big of a deal. Really.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I missed out. I made a mocktail myself. It was delicious.
I love that. And also I feel like even 5 years ago, if you're like, oh, I'm not drinking, people are like, oh, come on. I feel like going sober, January, dry October, like there's so sober October. There's so many of those now that like people just are like, oh, okay. Like people aren't really, obviously there's assholes out there, but I just find like I've done that before. Like, yeah, I'm doing sober October. People are like, nice, I should do that. And that's kind of like the end of conversation. It's not this like, oh, come on, come on. Like that's like, it's more common. It's not weird anymore to just have sober months, which I love.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was just dealing with a lot of anxiety and I was just like, I wanted to try it, see if it like leveled out my mood anymore. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll keep going after January, but 2 weeks in and I don't have FOMO at all. Michael's doing it as well. And he's like, oh, I was craving a scotch the other night where I'm like, I really don't crave it. But like, I definitely will eventually because on vacations, I love having a glass of wine and like, I do love cocktails. But yeah, it's kind of nice because you wake up every day feeling freaking fantastic.
It's great. That's where I'm at with alcohol. It's like, especially when I have vacations planned, like we're going to London in a couple weeks now. And so I'm like, hey, sober till London. Because I want that first drink to be so craveable.
Yes.
Like that is my favorite. Like that's the best drink. But you have to give it up for like 6 weeks to get that, like that first beer, that first martini just hits you so well. So that's why I love, and then I'll go sober until my next trip. And obviously like if something comes up, but just like, there's something about that, like having those like little sober breaks in between drinking just makes it even better.
Yeah, it makes it special when you do have it, a little treat yourself.
Yeah.
And then I also screenshotted some podcasts that kind of talk about people that were doing dry January was like,
Yeah.
oh, I really enjoyed these. I love the Andrew Huberman one on alcohol.
Classic.
But there's just different perspectives that I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I think it's good to learn because, I mean, in your 20s, you socially drink for so long and then you kind of have to relearn how to not, like do more wholesome activities without it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm enjoying is like, oh, okay, like let's go to the beach for the sunset or, I'll just get a seltzer at the bar and yeah, nobody cares. Nobody notices.
Fully. It's nice to just have those moments of with your friends even to like normalize, let's hang out at noon. Do you know what I mean? And like we
Totally.
don't have to drink and like just get into that habit of being with your friends isn't self-destructive, if that makes sense.
Yes, you can have nice conversations. Absolutely. What is your hot take?
I have a hot take and slash a question. Okay.
Okay.
Road peptide lip treatment. Does anyone else's smell? Hear me out. I saw this like reel and some TikToks of girls complaining about their peptide and all that. It's just classic. People hate on Hailey Bieber. I'm not a Hailey Bieber hater, but I will say the road peptide, I love it. But after a couple weeks, anytime I've gotten it, it smells so funky. And now I've tried every other peptide. I've tried like Tower 28, the old Hennessy, I can't pronounce that one. Sorry, Swedes. And like, what's the other one? Summer Fridays. I've tried them all. And even those, like I leave here in Sweden, so I won't use for months on end. I come back, None of them are stinky. Specifically rode peptide. After it just gets nasty.
What
Has
does it
anyone
smell
else
like?
noticed that? Just bad, rotten. Like it just smells
Ew.
like almost BO, I guess would be like the description. I was like, oh. And at first I was like, maybe this is just like the bottle and this is like what these things are like. But not my Laneige, no other brand I've had that happen. Just the peptide. I just noticed eventually after a couple weeks, it is stinky. And I'm like, it's not me. It doesn't do it to the others. So I need to know if this is a me thing or a everybody thing.
Are you still using it?
I ran out and now it's just such a, I liked it. Like a lot of ones I love. It's just a burden to get. Versus like Tower 28, Summer Fridays, all the others I can just get with a Sephora haul. The fact I have to do like a separate road order is I'm like, it's not that good that I'm going to make a whole separate order when Tower 28 is just as good in my opinion.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never tried it because I mean, imagine I just can't even imagine trying to get it because if it's not sold at a Sephora, I'm not bothering.
I know, but I will say the girlies make it look so nice. I made these like I was filming some B-roll and I wanted to be nice and aesthetic, so I got the brown Summer Fridays, so it would like look good with all my other brown items. And like the road peptide would look cuter. I'm gonna be honest, it would look cuter than the Summer Fridays, and so it made me want to get it. The girlies influenced me. Like I'm a sucker. It's such good packaging. Hailey Bieber, she has a grasp on us.
She really does. She is the it girl.
She truly is.
Do you know who I think her last name's Kaiser, Emily Kaiser? Kelsler? She is a TikToker. She's blonde. Seems like a cute girl. But she always would pop up on my TikTok and she like, oh my gosh, I don't know if like Summer Fridays is secretly paying her because she always made Summer Fridays look so delicious and aesthetic and she like bought every flavor and I think they of course gift it to her now.
Yeah.
But she was the reason I considered getting Summer Fridays. I haven't gotten it because when I went to buy it, a guy that worked at Sephora was like, oh no, get the Swedish one instead because that's an actual peptide. Don't really know the difference. But I was like, okay. And I like it and I still use it every day.
Yeah. I've tried a few of them and Summer Fridays is nice, but my favorite is Tower 28 by far. And then the next is Swedish, the Olay. And Summer Fridays, it's good. It's not bad, but it's fine. It's a good alternative. It's more packaging. Like Tower 28's packaging, not that cute. Effective.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my second hot take. So I was having, I don't know if it's a hot take, but I was having dinner with my mom and Michael yesterday. And we were talking about how my mom was like, oh, my mother made her own sprouts. My mom like grew up on a farm. She had chickens, cows, goats, horses. And she was saying, she was like, oh, my mom would make her own sprouts, make her own fruit leathers. And I was like, how the heck do you make your own fruit leather? And she said, she was like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I thought I was weird because I was like packing weird ass fruit leather in my lunchbox. And I didn't get to have the fun candy or the fun snacks because her mom was so health conscious. But now I think it's so funny because that's like what people aspire to be. That like trad wife, you know, make everything organic. And I was like, Mom, Grandma was just a trendsetter.
She was ahead of the time. She just knew. She was like, one day you will all hit 35 and you'll all be out on a farm trying to milk your own cows. You'll see.
Absolutely.
You'll see. I'm like, Grandma and moms are always right. They know. We eventually become them.
I know. Now I want to learn how to make my own fruit leather.
Honestly, you said that. I was like, send me the recipe. I kind of want to try that.
I know, right? I was like, wait,
How did we get here? How did we get here?
Yeah.
My other hot take is actually leaning on the Hailey Bieber talk. And this is not a Hailey Bieber trash because I love her. But I fear the clean girl aesthetic is out or it's going out. Every trend, like all I binged in January so far has been like 10 trends, skincare, fashion, like all these, and they would bring on some fashion person, like multiple different podcasts, multiple YouTube, and every single person's like, yeah, I think I'm just over clean girl. I want more fun. And I'm like, what's this? Are we doing like glam 2016? Like I'm just kind of sitting here being like, what do we think is going to come? Because I get it. I love clean girl. I love the natural beauty. I love using skincare like makeup. Like I love a clean girl, but I'm like, what's next? Are we going full glam or are we just doing, I don't know. What you think?
I don't know. I don't know. Messy girl? I mean, there is a trend of like showing the reality behind things. So maybe it's the reality of not everybody has the beige, beautiful Kim Kardashian house, or the reality is maybe we're just going back to the early 2000s where we showed mismatch, blankets on our couch and messy closets, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe Olsen twins. Like the Row is everything right now. The Row Margot bag or whatever is like the new Birkin. Like so just think like
really? What is it?
Actually, I'm going to give a little tea. You know how there's always the bag that like if you know, you know. The if you know, you know bag right now is the Row Margot, and there's no logo on it. It's just this big, beautiful brown suede bag. And now I see the it girls, like the really rich ones. Like I can't afford this thing. It's like $8,000 for a logoless bag, but like it's just stunning. Like, and yeah, that's the new it bag. Anyways, the Olsen twins own the Row, and it's the new
good for them.
It's the definition of quiet luxury. It's it's no logo.
Jennifer
just
Lawrence
chic.
has it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you know,
Kendall.
you know.
Jenner. Oh
It's
my
all
goodness.
This is what because they're like everyone knows what the Birkin is. The Birkin's not unique. It's not hard to get, but the Row Margot. But now I'm see a little insider knowledge. But with that, think the Olsens. Think like messy hair, little smudged eyeliner. Maybe that's the next thing. Like Luxe, but looks disheveled in a way.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just throwing
I'm
it out
not
there.
mad. That's definitely more naturally my personality. I'm a messy girl. Always have been, always will be.
Luxe, but messy. I
like to fake that I'm clean, and then you like turn and you're like, oh, it's actually a disaster behind this camera.
Just like the pinching, like the, you know what I mean, like the Homer Simpsons episodes or anything where like, oh, I'm actually gonna butcher this reference. There's one Homer looks skinny from the front and he turns on the side and it's like paper clipped him, so he like all of his fat's pushed behind.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. It's kind of, that's most influencers. Like, oh, look how good I look. Turn to the side. Your room is disgusting.
Yeah. Like, don't you ever go to someone's house and you're like, this place is like unlived in. Like, it's so beautiful, and aesthetic. Yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, mine's definitely not. I've got like a teddy bear from when I was a child, like sprawled somewhere. I've got things on the floor. I've got a dog that's messy. Yeah. But I like to try.
You gotta try it. Or I think there's nothing funnier when I film a lot of white wall, aloe yoga mat, matching suit. Like I film a lot of shots like that. But behind my camera is all the crap I just moved. So I get that white shot. Like the amount of times I've been like, oh, look how aesthetic. And I look at, as I'm filming, I just see the camera behind me. I'm like, there's 3 piles of laundry just sitting there. I'm like, you're full of shit.
Yeah. I do love though, like when you go to tour a house and they have it staged.
Oh,
or like you're watching Selling Sunsets, you have it staged. Beautiful. I tried to watch the show Selling in the City.
Oh.
It's the producer of Selling Sunsets. Horrible. Not worth your time.
Okay, good to know.
They wanted to be Selling Sunsets, but literally they go straight into the drama. We only saw one penthouse on the first episode, and I just was like, I don't know these girls to care about the drama. I need to care about them first, and then I'll deal with the petty drama. I don't want to just hear the petty drama first.
I think the reality shows have because those girls got so famous and the drama got so relevant that they forgot I'm there for the nice homes. I'm not there for the drama, but the drama will keep me. Just show me the nice homes, the luxury, and every once in a while I'll pop in a little storyline and then I'll stay around. But no, I'm here for the homes.
Yeah, agreed. Well, changing gears, with that being said, we thought we would do a round 2 of a fun topic we like to cover, and that is 10 life-changing habits for 2025 that will actually work, okay? And yes, granted, everybody and their mom will tell you what their habits they do, but we thought, why not share a few that we were trying to incorporate, especially me, in 2025, since I planned this episode out. Sound good?
I love it. Let's go.
Okay. So, number 1 that I've been working on is start your day with 10 minutes of stillness for you. So, if you're a mom or maybe you are working, maybe you're in school, like you can't tell me you're too busy for 10 minutes. We can all get 10 minutes. Something I'm doing with it is I'm walking Bentley no matter what for at least 5 minutes. If I can't do a long walk with him, I'll still like, that's him and I's time that we go together, and I pop in a podcast or I'll just walk by myself. But I do try to incorporate 3 days where I walk at sunrise with him. And it's so relaxing. Like, no one is bugging me. My phone is on do not disturb. Sometimes I go with a friend. Sometimes I just listen to something. What about you? What do you do in your mornings?
I will say, you got to romanticize the cup of coffee in the morning. Like, for me, that's like right when I wake up and I'm just taking a minute, and yeah, wait your 90 minutes. That's fine. Either you can make tea, you can make an element, you could do what you want. But for me, that like moment just like grounds me. And it's like, I got up. I don't have to be go the second I get up. And it's like, ease into it. Let me get my thoughts straight for a couple minutes. And then I write down all my thoughts. But usually like, and then I just try to consume something that isn't algorithm based. So I might use like, I use the news app, or I'll, you know, go to an actual newspaper. Like, I now have like subscriptions to like magazines. Like I'll go on Vogue and like watch that, or I'll just like write a to-do list. So something kind of simple like that, just take a minute for myself. And then I do go for a walk. My walk is usually my commute because I walk to the gym, but just having like those two things to myself, and like listen to an audiobook and just be before the world comes at you. Like, no emails. I no longer respond to text messages. I'm like, just the world is not in my bubble for the first few minutes.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of helps you set your tone for your day. If you just add in, and if you don't have 10 minutes, do it for 5. If you don't have 5, do it for 2. Like, we can't have the excuse of I'm too busy. You don't want to wake up feeling chaotic. I used to hate that when I would like set my alarm to the very last minute and then like run to class or run to work. I was like, I just felt chaotic all day long. My nervous system was out of whack. Where this, at least you can just like appreciate your day to day and appreciate you're alive, and like be grateful for things. And like, it just a little self-reflection time that I think is great to bring into the new year if that's something you haven't been doing.
Yeah, like exact same. Even if I have a morning class, like I'll force myself. I'm like, if you're going to get that early for a class, you got to go to bed early because you need those 5 minutes to yourself in the morning. And like, I can do the just roll out of bed and go. But I find, like you said, my thoughts are all over the place. And then I just feel like I'm just putting out fires. I'm not strategically planning and enjoying my day.
Yeah. All right. Number 2 is follow the 2-minute rule. So I read about this and I liked it. It just helps with stopping procrastination, and like if you feel cluttery with a ton of to-do things. So the idea of the 2-minute rule is if it takes you 2 minutes, just get it done and just bite the bullet, do it. So I started reading, do you know who Mel Robbins is?
Oh, love her.
Okay, love her. So I was listening, she's promoting her new book, The Let Them Theory, and I've heard a couple podcasts, so I actually bought the book and I'm reading it. Yeah, I really am enjoying it. I'm on chapter 4 so far. But she created this rule, and it was called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. So where you count to basically 1 after 5, and you just get up and you do what you have to do. And it sucks and it's annoying, but you just do it. You don't procrastinate. And this morning I literally practiced doing this 2-minute rule where literally I knew I needed to contact my accountant and my bookkeeper to get ahead, because I every year procrastinate, and I always am like doing it last minute. And I'm like, you know what? It takes me 1 minute. Why am I delaying this? That and like bills that are annoying to like, if they don't have auto pay, that I'll like procrastinate. I don't know why. And then I'll feel overwhelmed that day because I'm like, oh, I need to get this done. So this morning after my walk with Bentley, I sat down with my cup of coffee and I just was like, just get it done. And I feel so amazing. And now it's like, okay, I don't need to focus on anything else. Like when it comes to those little mental tasks that hold up space.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to use an example because I've listened to Mel Robbins in the past, and the 5-second rule is so good for getting off the couch. And I use it almost every night because the science behind it is like, there's something about you. If you just count to 5, you'll just do it. Like, it's kind of funny that it happens. Is like, I have to get off the couch in 5, 4, 3, 2, and you just get up. And it's kind of crazy, but like every night when I'm on the couch is really comfortable, but I will go on social media for 2 hours and not sleep. But to get to the couch to the bed is like my hardest part of the day. Like that's the thing I struggle with. And you're like, oh, it's not that hard. It's just, that's what I'm not good at. And I just get sucked in. And when I realize I'm doing it, I'm like, you have 5 seconds to get off this couch. And you just count to 5 and then you get up. And I'm going to give actually one little tip for like accounting and those like tasks you don't want to do. It's a Danish term I've talked a lot on my channel, and hygge, so spelled Hyggge. You'll hear North Americans say higgy. It's hygge. Hygge, I think, or I always pronounce it wrong, but it's like that. And it's kind of like cozy. It's is the best way I would describe it. And it's just think you've been skiing all day. You come inside, you get a warm soup, you have a cozy blanket, the fireplace is roaring, and you're around your favorite friends and family, like that kind of feeling. So it's more than cozy, but that's what hygge means. And anything that you have to do that's brutal, accounting, I'm the same, paying bills, hyggify it. So make it a vibe. And like that's what I like. So I've kind of started to do that. I'm like, okay, Wednesday afternoon, you're doing those things. So to make it nice, I'm like, I'm going to put on my favorite sweater. I'm going to have some music. I'm going to have my favorite treat. I'm going to have a cappuccino. I'm going to listen to my trashy podcast in the background. And I'm going to, you know what I mean? And I just like make the whole entire vibe that I sit there. I'm like, this is kind of enjoyable. It's not actually that complicated. And so if the 2-minute rule doesn't work, you can just hyggify it.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I literally put on Taylor Swift in the background.
Perfect.
To do this. So yeah, right there, make it enjoyable. And that it's not a big deal. Because then once you get it done, you're like, why did I wait so long? Yeah. Like I will take responsibility where I'm like, that was on me. I just procrastinated. And it's so simple tasks, but I don't know, something with my personality.
Actually, a big lesson I learned, just to wrap it up real fast, in 2024 is like being an adult sucks. I know it sounds, but like we'll have to do taxes forever. We have to clean the gutters forever. Like there's just things in life that suck and they'll never just go away. Like we're never going to hit this point in 10 years where like I don't have to do all those crappy things. So you might as well make them enjoyable. Either get them done with really fast or find a way to enjoy it, because like we never don't pay taxes.
Totally. Okay, 3 is meal prep once a week, or I put in try a new recipe, because that was something that I wanted to do. And I think this just helps like with decision fatigue. If I don't have things prepped, I'm like, I don't know what to have. And then I'll wait last minute, and then Michael and I end up getting takeout. And it just helps you stay consistent with your nutrition. So something that I do is a lot of people don't think of this. Like my mom, when she was here, she was like, you meal prep your veggies? And I was like, yeah, it's amazing. So what I do is I just prep it all, chop it all up. Otherwise it'll sit there and I will not eat them because I'm too lazy to take 2 minutes to cut them. So when we were making dinner, I was like, oh, she's like, do you need anything? And I'm like, no, literally everything's ready. I just need to pop in the air fryer. Michael's going to go barbecue it. And I've also been doing this thing with Michael where I'm trying a new recipe on the weekends. And so instead of eating out as much, I was like, you know what? Like once, on the weekend, let's stay in, play a game, watch a movie, and then try a new recipe together. And we have a grill, and we've been really enjoying just grilling our meat. So he'll grill it, and then like we kind of bond with it. We tag team, he grills. And then I did a hot honey chicken thigh from Pinterest. Ooh, yeah. And so this weekend I'm going to do a new sauce. I'm going to try something new. And because I love the hot honey, I literally made it 3 times since I did it. And it's so easy, and I made my own sauce. So it's just little things like that you're trying to plan out and add to your Rolodex so you don't get bored.
I love that. And then a little tip I have for like coming up with ideas, because I think we all have decision fatigue, is and I've said it 1,000 times, but just like every few months I Google what's in season. And then like I pick that week, I'm just like, oh, broccoli's in. And I'm like, okay, what's a cool recipe I can make with broccoli? And like whether I go to the grocery, and like I just plan it around there. And it's like, it forces you not to get repetitive, because then you're like, oh yeah, broccoli's not in season. We're doing cherries, we're doing blueberries. And then like it is good for you because the fruits and vegetables are in season. It's good for the environment. And like it's just like a default way to kind of, sometimes you just need to lower the decisions. There's so many recipes in that. So I'm like, okay, apple is the star of the show this week. And like that helps me.
I love that. A little master chef action. Okay, number 4 is build a consistent sleep routine. So this will just help you. I think it just improves your mood, overall health, your focus. What I mean by this is, at least something I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to stay consistent even on the weekends. I used to not, especially when I would like go out with friends and things like that, which you should definitely still do that. But if it's like unnecessary, or plan like the early dinners, like I just try to keep it as regulated as possible, where I still get up early on the weekends. we can lay in bed, I can read a book, like it can be more enjoyable on the weekends, but it's just, I'm so tired of the flip-flopping because then my body's so tired and has to like catch up on sleep Monday and Tuesday if I stay out late on the weekends.
I love that. A little tip I have, because I think it's figuring out what's harder for you. Is it going to bed on time or waking up at a consistent time with getting consistent sleep schedule and like hacking that and just concentrating on one? And for me, I can wake up anytime. Like getting up isn't actually that hard. It's just getting to bed so I get enough sleep is the hardest. So I have a little trick I have, and I know you're not supposed to go on your phone, but I pick one app that I'm only allowed to go on once I've crawled into bed, but it has to be an app that is kind of like junk food. Like it has to be like a guilty pleasure, but there's no scrollability. Like it can't be TikTok, it can't be Instagram, because that you can just get stuck in forever. So we have an apartment app, just because that's so random, for my building. And so there's only like 5 to 10 posts a day, and it's always just mostly Karens complaining about things. So it's absolutely so entertaining, and I love it. Like, but I go in there, like, you can only read it in bed. So then like every night I'm like, oh, I get to check the app. So I go in there, just hear someone ratting out another neighbor. And like, I find it like, it's so random, but I'm like, that's my little treat. And that's what gets me to go into bed. But I can't, like, I don't get trapped into the TikTok scroll. So there's my little hack to get to bed.
That's hilarious. You like to fall asleep to the sweet, sweet sounds of Karens.
Yep. Exactly. Just people complaining. Wild. And then I'm peaceful in my bed. I'm like, I like it here. I'm fine.
I am content.
I'm content with my apartment. Funny. I like it. I got to keep.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I used to actually I would read a site like this back in college. I don't know if I've ever talked on the podcast about it. It must still exist. It was before really social media was big. And it was these people would write in to this website, and anyone could submit a love letter, whether it was somebody they saw on the street and they fell in love with them, or maybe it was some like a friend they were in love with and they couldn't tell them. They would like confess this. Did you ever read these? It was like a diary entry, and like literally I would read them before bed, and it was like the most romantic stories, and it was always so upbeat, and like just like I was such like a hopeless romantic when I was young, and like I didn't date a lot, so it was always like always wanting to, but so I'd read them. And one time I caught a girl in my sorority. She was one of my really good friends, and she had a thing with like, I think it was my boyfriend at the time's roommate, and he like wasn't giving her the time of day, and I was just on that, and she knew the site. Like her and I would read the sites, and like we'd been friends for years, so years we'd read this site. And one of the entries, I was like, why does this sound like her and her situation? So I screenshotted it. Yeah. And I sent it to her and was like, and they're supposed to be anonymous. So I totally like, she was probably embarrassed because I was like, this is you, isn't it? She was like, girl, that was me. Isn't that wild?
Crazy.
Out of
That's
hundreds
crazy.
of them. Because they would like get brought up if people liked them. Yeah. It was like Reddit thread of like hopeless romantics. Yeah. And and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I had no idea you felt this way. And then after, though, I got karma because then she'd send me random ones being like, is this you? And I'd be like, no, I've never. I'm not well written. So I never wrote in. They were always so like beautiful poems and like written word. Yeah. So cute. Yours is Karen's. Mine was love letters. And it would put me right to sleep. I was like, I'm going to dream.
That's a better thing to go to bed relationships. Versus someone be like, another package has been stolen. I'm like, darn it.
You're like, darn, glad I got my Element hot chocolate.
Exactly. I'm fine. Just kidding. Mine gets stolen a lot, so I'm definitely not fine, but it's kind of like, oh, well, there she goes.
Yeah. Have you ever submitted something on it?
It's not like anonymous. Like, it's definitely just like, it's actually fun. Like, it's not all Karens. It's just like, hey, who wants to do a cookies exchange? Or, yes, my locker got broken into. Or, watch out, someone's there. The elevators are down. Like, it's just elevator. So, yeah, every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, we had like a bunch of like, just stuff happen. I contribute, but very small. But I definitely, like, I'm not a ghost. I'll contribute when needed. But I'm not.
You're like, I'm here for the cookies.
Exactly. The cookie exchange? Count me in. Just kidding. I was not in the cookie exchange.
Yeah. Our community has like a group chat, and for a really long time, they would just argue. And so I left the group chat because arguing stresses me out hardcore. Yeah. And so I told Michael, I was like, I can't handle this. You just tell me. And he's such a guy. He does not care about drama. So I'm like, you just let me know if anything's important. And he's like, will do. And I haven't been in it for like 2 years. And sometimes I'll run into someone, they're like, did you see this? And I'm like, no, Michael only tells me whatever he thinks he needs to tell me. And they're like, oh, let me add you. And I'm like, no. I have this for a reason.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is annoying when I'm like recently they had a caiman, which is like a small alligator or crocodile. I don't know the difference. And like they have to call someone to come get it because it's dangerous. It'll eat your pets. And that was in the group chat and I missed it. Michael just sent it to me, but I was like, that's wild. What do people say? And Michael's like, I don't know. Like, are you kidding me? I'd be reading that.
Yep. It's good you don't have it.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5 is incorporate micro workouts. So just adding 5 to 10 minutes of movement throughout your day. Could be stretching, could be squats, it could be walking, just like little bursts that are going to add up. And I started doing this where I turned the stand sign back on my Apple Watch, which can be annoying when you're in your vibe. But I try and stand when it tells me. I'll take a little walk to the fridge, or I'll take little walks with Bentley and Michael. It'll be like 10-minute spurts, 5-minute spurts in between calls that I have. And what I've been adding is I stretch. When we watch a TV show, I'm stretching and I'm rolling out because I hate doing it at the gym. I just feel like, oh, I don't have time to do it. So I do it when we're watching something and I feel amazing.
I love that. I always try and go by the like 90 to 120 minutes of deep work blocks. Like it tends to be that's all you can really do before your like creativity and willpower just like diminishes. And so like I used to think, because sometimes you get into the flow and you keep going and going and going, but I realized all my work after 2 hours is usually crap, especially if it's something like very creative. And so what I do is about every 90, 120 minutes, I start to feel that dip. I'm like, oh, Keltie, what are you doing? I'm like, no, you need to go take 5 minutes, go on a walk, get a coffee, reset yourself. Sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's 20 minutes, and then I come back to it. But like, I no longer sit there and be like, keep pushing. Like take the little break, come back. And I feel you can like, you get right back into the flow of it. And so with that, like the micro workouts, like a lot of times I'll just go on like a little walk. I could say I stretch and do like squats. I don't, I just walk a little and that works for me.
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect. And then even like people that feel like they might not have time to exercise, at least you can get movement in that way. And it's great just in general because our bodies, we're not meant to, be so sedentary. We shouldn't be sitting constantly with the tech neck and everything. So I think it's great.
Love it.
Easy habit to add in. Okay, 7, set weekly goals, not just yearly ones. So yearly is great. We've talked about this in the new year. But I feel like if you can break it up into weekly actions, it'll at least help you stay motivated because you can change them. And it's not just, you won't lose sight of the big picture. Say hypothetically, you're like we've always used the weight loss example. You're like, I want to lose 20 pounds in the year. Well, if you just keep having that, like it's kind of hard to execute because slowly you'll get distracted. Maybe you'll hit a plateau, whatever it is. At least if you make bite-sized goals, it's easier to achieve and like kind of have fun, enjoy the process. So like a bite-sized goal that I had. So I'm doing a winter shred program with some girls and I just told them, I was like, my goal for this week, and I do this every single week, is I want to make it to the gym 4 times a week. I want to have my taxes done by Friday in the sense of just my bookkeeper sends it to the accountant. And I just had little things that I needed to get done by the end of the week. And it doesn't have to be just your goal. It could be something like a mundane task like that where I'm like, oh, I just don't want to procrastinate, or, call my friend that just moved to Portugal, little things like that. And it just kind of makes you look forward to something and break it up. And also it helps you understand those goals you need to get to the bigger picture. Yeah.
I love that. Something simple I do is like to make the goal, like the system, the goal, not the goal, and like make your 5-10 year goal what you want to be doing, reverse engineer what you need to do every year to get to that goal, what you need to do every month, what you do to need to every day. So for example, if your goal is in 5 years be fluent in a language, break it down. Like what would you have to do? Where'd you have to be at in a year? Where'd you have to be in a month? And then eventually you break it down. You're like, oh, it just means 15 minutes of practice a day. And so make the goal 30 days of 15 minutes of practice. Don't make the goal learn the language, like make the actual action that's going to get you the goal. And that I find helps me. And then I was like, oh, I did that for 30 days. And then over time, boom. And I think we might have forgot step 6.
Oh, did I skip?
You did.
I did.
So 7.
Oh, okay. Back to 6. Adopt the 1 minute rule for tidiness. How could I forget this? So spend just 1 minute cleaning as you go, putting things away immediately. It just keeps your space organized. So what I do is I do this after meals because I'm like very strict where I won't eat a meal usually in my office because I want that time to like decompress and have a better relationship with working and eating. And so I'll always be in the kitchen when I eat my meal. So after, I just do a quick little minute tidy up of the kitchen. I bought a Dyson, the cordless vacuum. So splurged, a very adult purchase, right? But that's actually been really helpful because Bentley does this thing where he loves to just like eat up my plants. And then it'll be like wrecked on the floor until I finally decide to clean for the week. And instead with the Dyson, since it's cordless, I just like with that minute can tidy everything up and keep the floors clean, away from hair. And it's been like a game changer without having to lug like a plug-in vacuum, you know?
Yeah, love that. My little tip with that is I just bought cleaning supplies that I think are pretty so they stay on the counter. So I've used Blue Lane in the past. Right now I'm using Sage products and like I love the little brown, almost a soap color bottle. And so that it just sits on there because simply having it out makes me clean versus if it's like ugly, I'll put it under the sink and then it's like knowing I have to open a cabinet to get it, I just won't. As funny as that is, I'm like, oh, but if it's there, I'm like, oh yeah. And it's like a little reminder. So you don't have to get like fancy stuff. You could just go get like a cheap bottle from Winners and put your products. But like I was like, find a way that your cleaning products are on your counter so you actually do it. At least that works for me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. My Pilates studio, she makes her own cleaning products. She does like alcohol, cleaning alcohol, and then I don't know if there's a difference. Is it just vodka? I have no idea. But like, when you buy cleaning alcohol, I feel like it's not. It's different. But she puts it with these delicious like oils and it makes it like so like romanticizing when we clean the Pilates. We all are like, oh my gosh, this smells so good. So I've been trying to do that. I just bought on sale glass bottles from TJ Maxx and then I do it myself now. And I'm like, I look forward to it.
Love.
Because I like the smell.
That works.
Yep. Okay. 8, we're jumping, is commit to a daily read. So either you could do 10 pages or 10 minutes. Doesn't have to be much, but I think there's some power in still like keeping up with reading. I'm a big bookworm, so I'm always going to advocate for reading, but like I think, of course, watching TV is fun. Listening to Audible is really fun as well. But there's something really powerful about connecting with words and like, I don't know. For me, I feel like I'm more creative when I read because then I'm in charge of envisioning the characters, which could be the same if you like to listen to a book. But what I'm doing, so I love fantasy. I love smutty books, things like that. And so my friend Morgan, she's my little book friend, like little bookworm girl, and we are reading Throne of Glass together, and there's freaking 9 books, so it's taken us forever. But I texted her and was like, hey, do you want to read a self-help book while we do this? And each month what we're doing is picking a very easy self-help book. So I chose the Mel Robbins Let Them theory, and we said, hey, by the 24th of January, let's have it done. We're going to go, she was like, let's go get some martinis. I'll get a little mocktail martini and let's discuss what we learned through it. So we just texted today and I was like, I'm on chapter 4. She's like, I'm on chapter 11. And what I do is I just make sure I keep them both on my Kindle and I'll read 10 minutes of my Mel Robbins, self-help book. And then I'm reading 10 minutes of Throne of Glass and I read it in the sauna. So I habit stack with that, which is fun.
Love that. Mine's kind of like yours, but a little different. Personally, I love an audiobook. I feel I can consume so much education with it and doing other things when I'm doing my laundry, when I'm walking, when I'm driving. But then I also want to get into more of the habit of actually reading. So for me, all my self-help book, my education, the history, learning about fitness, all those I do on audio because then I can do other things. And then I find I absorb it better that way. And then I do more my fictional, fun relaxation is in an actual book. So that's like read 10 pages, sit for 10 minutes and actually read. And like, that's not about education. That's not about learning. That's not about self-improvement. That's just like about 10 minutes of being and unwinding and relaxing. And like, that's kind of, obviously it doesn't have to be that black or white, but that's what's working for me.
I love that. It's interesting how some people are visual learners. You know, you absorb it better visually, like if you read. And then there's a lot of auditory, you know, that you can absorb. So I always think it's funny how, like, my friend Morgan, she's an audio girl where I read. And it's like it gets the job done either way, but there will always be a different perspective, which I think is cool. Where, like, I've tried doing audiobooks for education, snooze fest. I immediately go off into my own world. But if I read them, it's like I have to absorb it because that's what I'm reading. I can't, like, zone out. Yeah. But yeah, I think both are really cool. Both are good. And it's awesome that we have those options.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. 9 is practice gratitude daily. Sounds really cliche, but I actually think this is really cool when it comes to rewiring your brain. Think of it like of how a lot of the times we can get like really boggled down by other people's thoughts or worrying about pleasing people or something that's really daunting or sad that's going on in our life. So I saw this on a podcast, and when the toast went away for 2 weeks, I was like, let me listen to all these podcasts that I put off that were educational. And this one was, he talked about, this doctor said, write 3 things down. And I do it every day now. 1 is one thing you're grateful for today or appreciate in life. So like today I wrote, I was grateful my mom is my best friend. 2 is what is a priority today that needs to be done. Mine was check in with my one-on-one girls. And he makes a point, do 1. Like if there's multiple priorities, that's not going to work. Just do 1 that needs to be done today. And 3, what quality do I want to showcase to the world today? And mine was empathy. And so it's like you just write little things down and you just do it every single day. And it just rewires you to think a different way immediately instead of all the negativity.
I love that. I love that. Now I'm going to ironically use negativity to be positive, and I do this negative visualization. It sounds morbid, but it honestly helps so much. When you're going through something really crappy, I'll give an example. You're stuck on a tarmac for 3 hours. Like your plane's not taking off and you're just like, oh my God. I tell myself, and this is so morbid, imagine the plane is crashing right now and what I would give to go back and be stuck on a tarmac for 3 hours. So like, I know it sounds funny, but sometimes I put myself in that, like the idea of like that expression of like, pretend you're 80 and you get to come back in your 20-year-old body for a day. How would you live? It's that same kind of concept. So like if I'm stuck in traffic and I'm like, if my car just flipped, what I would give to be stuck in traffic. And suddenly like I come from that perspective, and then like you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm stuck in traffic. I'm alive. And so there's a little hack to get through.
Wow. I love that. That's a great way to put it. It's very morbid, a little PTSD, but I love that. Especially with everything that's going on in the world, right?
Exactly.
My heart goes out to the LA fires, and it is a great perspective to think, 1, I was talking to my mom, what would I grab? What was something I would grab? Yeah. And my mom and I have been through a house fire. Our house burned down when I was 10, right? So I definitely understand, and now I know what's important. Yeah. It's like we had an animal die in it, like that. Ugh. So it's like having those perspectives when you have a bad day, to be like, people right now are rebuilding their life. At least I have a roof over my head,
Exactly.
So
it's, you don't want to like profit off other people's down, but it's just like all you can do is be grateful and just be grateful what you have.
Yeah. So my heart goes out if anybody is dealing with that right now in the LA fires. We're here. If you need anything, message us, because
please,
it's horrible. Okay. 10 is embrace the 80-20 rule in life. So I loved this. So it's like focus 80% of your energy on the 20% of activities that yield the biggest results. So that could be fitness, work, relationships. I liked that everyone always talks about the 80-20 rule in like your diet, right? And I thought this was really nice that it was like in everything in your life. So like focus on, like I said, that wholesome activity, maybe some self-growth, learning a new hobby, like as cheesy as it is. And you can still focus on doing the 20%. Like I love my cheesy, gossipy podcasts, my TV shows. I still love to grab drinks and go out and stay up late. But it's like, I love the balance idea, because 50-50 with that is really hard to balance. You kind of need, at least the older I get, I'm like, oh my God, I need more wholesome.
Exactly. And then my tip for that is just reflect every month or once a week, because 80-20, we hear it a lot in fitness. And like you said, I love the idea of doing it with your whole life. But I get a lot of people message me. They're like, oh yeah, you say balance 80-20, but like, what does that mean for nutrition? And even that's something I had to learn, like, what does 80-20 mean for mental health and work and finances? And like, it's not exact. It's kind of like, yeah, you can do the math for every 4 good things. It's 1 bad thing you do. But just like every month kind of reflect, and you're like, is the biggest bucket of my energy going towards what I consider that 80%? Or is it 50-50? Like, I've been in stages where it's like 100% is in productivity, goodness. I'm like, you're not having any fun. What's the point of living? On the flip side, I've been like completely sacrificing everything good for me. And so it's just kind of be like, okay, which is it? Like, add 2 more good things, take away, like, you know what I mean? And just like constantly reflect, but don't think like it's a rough 80-20. And I think a lot of type A's are like, how do I get it perfectly 80-20? It's a rough idea. It's a concept. It's not exactly 80-20, because I think like that's been reamed down people's throats so much that they think it's like exact. It's like for about every 4 good things, do 1 fun thing. And that's like,
Yeah.
you're doing good.
That's even though like a struggle people have in their fitness journey, right? Like a lot of girls I train, they're like so hell bent on being perfect with everything. And I'm like, dude, you're going to burn out and I'm not going to hear from you for 2 months. So you might as well try your best, balance it the way you can, do what works for you. And you just got to be consistent. Throw it in somehow.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, that was our 10 to bring into 2025. We hope you liked it. Leave a review if you want. Write a comment. Shoot us a DM if you have a confession session or you want advice or questions. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.